In the last video, I said we would be talking about finding land to buy and finding a builder, and indeed we will. But since yesterday, when I made that video, I thought it would also be good to be talking in this video about finding a lawyer to guide you through your land purchase. And indeed, I'm going to talk about that first. So let me make it clear, unlike some other countries, you don't have to have a lawyer to make a land purchase. But if I have one piece of advice to you, and it is the only piece of advice I'm going to give, otherwise I'm just narrating what I did and what I found out along the way. The one piece of advice to you, I would say, is definitely get a lawyer to oversee your purchase of land, and possibly even to draw up a contract with your builder. And the reason I'm saying this is that as a foreigner in Bali, you cannot know all the ins and outs of this process. And some of it is not legal, it's just knowing the common traps. And it may be that you have lived here a long time and you do know some of the common traps because some of your friends have fallen into them, and we wouldn't wish that on anyone. But a lawyer will cost you, I think from memory, in the process of purchasing the land and a few other things, it cost me about $2,000 in lawyers' fees. But at the end of the day, if you think about the amount of money you're committing to overlook a small thing which then actually costs you your whole investment, which can happen, and you may well have heard stories of that happening, it kind of becomes good value. I think it's fair to say not any lawyer will do. Some of their outputs are fairly variable in Bali. Some of them, they only see their role as examining the title of the land to make sure that it is indeed saleable, and a few other bits and pieces. And you will be unlikely to meet them. They do a desktop job, and they expect a fee up front. There are, however, quite a few lawyer firms, usually foreign-owned, because the foreigner has set up a law firm realizing that there's a market for managing the sale of property to foreigners, because foreigners don't understand the process necessarily as well. And these offer a more, what I would call a holding hand service. So, for example, the lawyer that I hired were a bit expensive, but they were in touch with me all the time. They were very responsive. They came to the site just before I purchased the land to look at it themselves, and they arrived in a big team of about 6 people, and they immediately went to work to measuring the land. And I think the landowner who was selling to me, he kind of wondered what had hit him with this big team coming up. But I was quite pleased with the sort of message it sent, because it sent a message saying, I'm serious about buying this land and I'm not going to leave any stone unturned. Also, the lawyers, they should advise you about hazards, and one of the biggest pitfalls is access. So if you buy a piece of land, you're going to need vehicle access, because otherwise your builders can't run wheelbarrows up 1 kilometre of track. Well, they can do it, but it's going to cost you a lot of money if they have to. And remember that also bricks and steel have to be brought onto the site, and concrete in quite large quantities. The other thing to say, which sometimes people overlook, is that building requires water. And one of the first things your builder will do will be to drill a well down into the sandstone underneath, sometimes as much as 50 to 100 meters, in order to extract well water. And that is absolutely the first thing that has to happen on the site. And so it is therefore something that needs to be investigated, that water will be available by one means or another. Because without water, concrete can't be made, and the workers can't live on the site. That's something I'll talk about a bit later. Okay, that's it on lawyers. And at the beginning, when I was going to buy land, I thought, oh, I really need to pay this out, because to be honest, there are lots of fees which suddenly jump up at you, and you sort of think, do I really need this? In my view, you do, but you may take a different view.